Welcome to This Week in the Unwritten Rules. I'm Jason Turbo, author of the Baseball Codes, and this week we'll be discussing rules surrounding showboating, respecting your manager, and no-hitters. Last week, Indians reliever Tony Sipp was pulled from a game by manager Manny Acta, but didn't wait for Acta to get to the mound before walking off. He took the ball with him.
I wouldn't like a pitcher to do that to me, because then he's showing me up, see, and I never showed a player up in my entire life, and I didn't want him to show me up, so I wouldn't stand for it.
Baseball's unwritten rule says that a pitcher waits atop the mound for his manager to arrive, hands him the baseball, and then waits to be dismissed before departing. Sipp realized what he had done, turned around after only a few steps, went back up the mound, handed the ball to Acta. He still got chewed out after the game, but that's more or less where the situation ended. The incident did bring to mind something that happened in 1983, when Giants manager Frank Robinson pulled Jim Barr from a game.
And as he walks out there, Jim Barr, he starts walking out the mound. They kind of meet like 5-6 feet off the mound as Barr's heading back in. And he flips Frank the ball. And Frank catches the ball in one hand, and in the other hand, he grabs Jim Barr by the arm, and he swings him around and says, "You walk back on the mound." They were going to go. Both guys, you had to kill them to stop. But they didn't. We broke it up. But you know, the bottom line was Jim didn't wait for the manager.
It's a good thing Tony Sipp did not have Frank Robinson as a manager. How much is too much when it comes to self-congratulation on the ball field? Last week, when Cincinnati's Brandon Phillips pounded his chest after dislodging the ball from Nationals catcher Will Nieves in a play at the plate, he apparently crossed the line. When Phillips came to the plate the following inning, Miguel Batista drilled him. Phillips took it without flinching. He went right down to first base, didn't so much as look at the mound. After the game, he used the phrase, "lesson learned." Still, some people are saying he did nothing to disrespect the opposition. His chest thumps came as he was heading back to his own dugout. He didn't so much as acknowledge the Nationals.
I think it's Brandon being Brandon, for one thing, and me personally, I don't have a problem with it, whether it's Brandon or somebody else.
A similar argument could be made for Barry Bonds, who on this very field perfected the pirouettes he'd turn after hitting home runs, much to the chagrin of visiting players, even though none of his antics were directed at them. It all begs the question, where's the line?
Baseball is kind of one of those games you got to hold your emotions back, or it's not professional if you do this and that. I understand it's not the NFL or the NBA, but I think when you see guys show a little emotion or show some excitement, gets the fans going, it's good for the game.
Either way, it'll be interesting to see if Phillips keeps his emotions in check the next time he comes barreling home. There was a run-up to greatness Sunday night at Wrigley Field when Cubs pitcher Ted Lilly took a no-hitter into the 9th inning against the White Sox. The unwritten rules came into play in the 8th inning, however, when White Sox second baseman Gordon Beckham tried to get his team's first hit of the evening with a bunt. He fouled it off and ended up popping out, but that was hardly the end of the story. It was a 1-0 game, and Beckham can hardly be faulted for trying to reach base in any way possible. White Sox manager Ozzie Guillen had his own unique take on the situation, saying that had it happened in the 9th inning, it would have been unprofessional. But in the 8th inning, everything is fair game. There's definitely precedent. Just a few years ago, Tampa Bay's Ben Zobrist broke up Jared Washburn's no-hit bid with a bunt single in the 6th inning. It was a 2-0 score at the time, and neither Washburn nor Mariners manager Mike Hargrove took issue with the bunt.
I remember watching the game, and anytime there's a no-hitter going, to me the more important thing is trying to win a ball game. And if you got a bunter up there at the plate and he can get down a bunt, and next guy might hit a homer, the guy's out of the stretch, it changes momentum. The idea is to win a baseball game.
Who knows? With the rash of no-hitters we've seen this season, this will probably come into play again. Thanks for joining us for this week's Unwritten Rules Rundown. We'll be back next week with more of baseball's best beanballs, blown calls, and more. And remember, rules are made to be broken unless they're unwritten.